Have you ever felt like your life was quietly crumbling underneath you, not in a loud, dramatic way, but in that silent, terrifying kind of collapse, where you're just going through the motions, handling work, texting back, hitting the gym, planning the future, and then something shifts? Maybe it's a breakup you didn't see coming. Maybe you lost the job that gave your life structure. Maybe your family broke in a way you didn't know how to fix. Or maybe it's nothing big at all, just a long, slow buildup of stress, loneliness, and the feeling that something is off. Suddenly, the floor beneath you isn't there anymore, and you're left standing in the ruins of a life that once felt stable, staring at the pieces, asking yourself, how did I get here? How did it all fall apart so fast? I've been there too, and if you're in that place right now, if everything feels like it's slipping away, this video is for you. Not to tell you to fix everything, not to pretend like the pain isn't real, but to sit with you in that silence and show you that maybe, just maybe, what feels like the end can become the beginning of something stronger. When everything collapsed around me, my first instinct was to move, fix something, solve it, run faster, work harder, distract myself, anything but sit still and feel what was happening. But here's what no one tells you: the urge to fix everything right away is just another way of trying to escape the pain. I thought if I just pushed through, kept my schedule, stayed productive, I could outrun the breakdown. But I couldn't, because the real collapse wasn't happening outside of me. It was inside, in my thoughts, in my chest, in the way I couldn't breathe deeply anymore, in the way I stopped laughing without forcing it. That's when I realized something I had never been taught. Healing doesn't begin with doing, it begins with stillness. Imagine standing in the middle of a storm. The wind is howling, rain's coming sideways. Your instinct is to run or fight back. But what if instead you just stood there, planted your feet, took a deep breath, and let the storm pass through you? That's what stillness feels like. Psychology professor Beverly D. Flaxington explains that learning to pause, to simply be present, can lower stress levels, improve sleep, unlock creative thinking, and reconnect us to the moment. It's not about ignoring the chaos. It's about not letting the chaos decide who you become. For the first time in a long time, I let myself stop. Not forever, just enough to catch my breath. And it was in that quiet space, not the noise of fixing things, that I finally began to feel human again. One self-care is survival in the worst moments. I stopped eating properly. Sometimes I overate to feel something, anything. Other times I skipped meals for days, too numb to care. What I didn't realize is that these small things, sleep, hydration, movement, are the foundations of mental strength, not luxury. Survival. The day I decided to drink 2 full glasses of water instead of skipping breakfast, that was me choosing life. It wasn't dramatic, but it mattered. Psychologists call this behavioral activation, doing small, intentional actions to slowly pull yourself out of emotional paralysis. Your nervous system remembers every time you show it safety. Self-care is how you tell your body, you matter, I've got you. To break down the problem, not yourself. When everything fell apart, I kept asking, what's wrong with me? That question nearly broke me, until one day a therapist asked me, what if the problem isn't you, but what happened to you? That moment changed my life, because instead of trying to fix myself, I started breaking the situation down into pieces I could actually handle. What can I control today? Can I reply to one email? Can I take one step? Even the tiniest forward motion creates something powerful, momentum. You don't rebuild a life in a week, but one brick at a time, you can. 3. Let go of what drains you. I used to keep people in my life just because they were familiar, even if they left me feeling drained. Even if they never asked how I was really doing. But healing forced me to ask, does this person bring peace or pressure? Does this schedule support my healing, or does it drown me? Letting go wasn't easy, but as I decluttered my space and gently stepped back from toxic relationships, I realized something simple: healing needs room to breathe. Sometimes we have to lose the noise to hear our own voice again. 4. Find the lesson in the rubble. There's a strange kind of wisdom that only shows up after everything burns. One night, I journaled this question: what has this pain taught me about who I really am? And slowly, I found answers I never expected. I'm more resilient than I thought. I value peace more than performance. I don't want to spend my life proving. I want to spend it living. What felt like destruction became revelation. In the rubble, I found myself. 5. Practice radical acceptance. I used to spend so much energy wishing things had turned out differently, replaying conversations, arguing with the past, but all it did was exhaust me more. Then I learned a new concept from dialectical behavior therapy: radical acceptance. It means fully acknowledging your reality, not because you like it, but because fighting it keeps you stuck. Acceptance doesn't mean giving up. It means choosing to stop swimming against the current, so you can finally breathe and decide where to go from here. 6. Reach out, even when you don't feel worth it. When I was lowest, I convinced myself that no one would care, that I'd be a burden, that everyone was too busy. But one night, I sent a message to a friend: "Hey, I don't know why, but everything feels heavy. Can we talk?" And he replied instantly: "I'm here, let's talk." That conversation didn't solve everything, but it reminded me human connection doesn't have to fix you. It just has to hold you. You don't have to go through it alone. Not now, not ever. 7. Water the seed of hope. I used to believe hope was something that showed up after things got better. Now I know it's something you plant when everything still feels awful. Hope isn't blind optimism. It's a quiet voice that says, "I don't know how, but I will find a way." And every time you do something kind for yourself, every time you say, "Maybe tomorrow will feel lighter," you're watering that hope. Over time, it grows, and so do you. After everything crumbled, I kept asking myself, how do I start over when I have nothing left? And the answer was always the same: start small, smaller than you think. Here are a few tiny habits that helped me when I didn't have energy, direction, or even hope. 1. Make your bed. It sounds cliché, but making my bed each morning was the first moment of structure I gave myself. A small act of control, a signal that says, today I'm choosing to care. 2. Step outside, even if it's just for 5 minutes. Fresh air, sunlight, movement. They don't fix everything, but they remind you that life is still happening around you. 3. Name what you're feeling. I started asking myself each morning, what emotion is most present right now? I didn't try to change it, just name it: sad, numb, tired, angry. This simple habit gave my emotions permission to exist without judgment, and that created space to breathe. 4. Drink a glass of water with intention. It sounds small, and it is, but healing starts with small choices that say, I care about my body even when my mind feels broken. 5. Celebrate one win, no matter how small. Some days my biggest win was brushing my teeth, or sending one email, or not crying until after lunch. That's still a win. Psychologists call this self-reinforcement, recognizing your own effort, not just outcomes. It builds confidence slowly, gently. None of these habits were magical, but together they became something real: a rhythm, a foundation, a whisper in the back of my mind that said, you're not failing, you're healing. And that was enough to keep going. If you're watching this and your life feels like it's falling apart, please hear me when I say this. You are not broken, you are breaking open, and that's different. This video wasn't meant to fix everything. It was never about pretending the pain doesn't exist. It was about this: surviving the storm and beginning again, not with a master plan, not with a miracle, but with one step, one small act of courage, one breath where you choose not to give up. So let me ask you, what's one small step you can take today? Not tomorrow, not when you feel ready. Today, write it down, leave it in the comments, and if you're comfortable, share what you're rebuilding. We read every message, and someone else out there might need to know they're not alone either. And if this video gave you even a tiny bit of comfort, consider watching some of our other videos. Right arrow: why sadness feels addictive and how to break free. Right arrow: how to use your negative thoughts to your advantage. And don't forget to like, share, and subscribe, not just for us, but so that others can find this when they need it most. Thanks for watching, and remember, rock bottom isn't the end. It's the solid ground you get to rebuild from. We'll see you soon.